Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another game in the Shadows of Austin, uh, Mage the Awakening venue. Today, three different mages are off to the Goblin markets, escorted by their now know-it-all team member, Ares, the one who is most in tune with the market at present. The three are on their way with tickets in hand, just outside the northeast side's what was the night market, which is currently the brunch time market. A giant sign painted in red, you're hoping paint, above. With tickets in hand, the individuals are able to, without their active mage site, see the shop dealers and stall owners for what they are: creatures from myth and fantasy. Presently, Alice is dressed in her full regalia with her backpack on and currently a very curious expression on her face. She glances at Ares, gives him a smile, and then nods towards the market. So this is the place?
This is indeed the place. Ares is dressed in his motif Spartan warfare. Basically, it looks like a well used cosplay. Very interesting on him. Very 300 as he is showing all of his muscle and body. Yeah, it's a unique experience to see him so liberated. With that, he points and smiles and says, "Yeah, oh, definitely, Tom." Mhm.
Um, just so that everyone here is aware, we did find the rulings for uh, active mage site. Apparently, fate or mind. You don't need both. Either can pierce the mask completely if you have active mage site up.
Oh, bitch.
The entire market, though, pings your peripheral sight. Like, since peripheral sight tells you that something is obviously supernatural, the moment you walk inside, everything except the structure itself, like the roof overhead and the pillars holding it up, the concrete floor you're walking on is pinging your peripheral sight.
Every aspect of this is exceedingly alarming.
Well, this way.
So, are those creatures real?
Yeah, quite real.
And sentient.
Yes.
Are they people?
Mm.
Mm.
Not quite. I mean, some of them have humanoid-like qualities, but not exactly human. This is why I wanted to take you before. But you wanted to go somewhere else, Alice.
Um, Lead on.
Yeah, and Aries is walking down the street, pointing out shops and stalls, and if Alice has her fate sight up, she's actually watching. I suppose fate binding itself around deals and transactions.
She is definitely turning it on every now and again. There's only so long she can keep it active before
Yeah.
she would have to spend some mana, and she's not willing to do that at present.
Okay.
Yeah, Vanya will kind of bring it down too once she starts nearing her limit.
Is there anything you're looking for?
No, nothing. Not even anything in general. Just wanted to see it for myself.
Yeah. Apparently, you can buy anything here. Absolutely anything. Anything that your mind could possibly think of, but it all comes at a price.
Pretty eclectic sets of goods, she says, walking by a shop that is selling nothing but um, old manuals for Model Ts. You pass another shop that's selling left left socks, but only left socks. And then you pass another one selling antique clock components. But there's of course the usual moray of weapons vendors selling things that you could hardly recognize as a weapon, to a place that's selling records of like actual vinyl records of the last sound someone heard before they died. There's places selling fruits, vegetables, of the likes of which you've never seen before. It's it's like walking through a bazaar. Well, a bazaar.
Mm.
Your thoughts, Zabanya?
This is literally the sketchiest thing I have ever seen, and I have dealt with serial killers.
It's not all that sketchy if you sort of think about it.
Aries. I'm
Okay,
pretty
yeah,
sure.
yeah, it's sketchy, but like,
I'm pretty sure that woman over there just told her husband for a better husband.
well, they did say everything was for sale.
Everything you own, she says, looking at Aries.
You don't own me. Flicks her nose.
Oh, let's see about that.
We'll definitely see.
Where do you think you're going for lunch tomorrow?
Oh, listen, I have a very busy day tomorrow. Don't do that.
I'm pretty sure you're going to have a clear schedule around lunchtime.
Are you saying that you're going to kick open the door like you usually do, or is it just going to be, you know?
No, I'm saying that your boss is going to give you an extended lunch break.
He shakes his head.
Things happen,
They indeed do happen.
but not the things you want. Not yet, she says, twirling her finger in front of his face.
So you're saying I have to work for that?
I'm saying there's a potential, should you prove to be a worthy subject of further experimentation and research.
And
I
we are
mean,
walking.
Something wrong, Sabanya?
Oh, nothing.
my coworkers are definitely not flirting with each other.
So, these fruits, they're real,
yeah.
and you just bought them.
Yes.
What did it cost you?
Mm, an old memory of me skinning my knee. I told you it was really eclectic.
Wait, what? They're sell. They're selling memories here.
yeah.
That's. As a psychologist, I have to advise against giving away memories.
I'm for it.
What's wrong with memories?
Memories and experiences are part of the environmental factors in how we're made and how we develop. For layman's terms, they're a part of our identity and they help shape us. By giving away a memory, you give away part of your identity.
So, like a sympathetic connection.
I would think so, yes.
Mm.
How dangerous do you think selling a memory is?
Very.
By Zabania's word expression, I'd say very.
So,
Hmm.
how many memories did you sell?
Just the one.
Right, you said you bought the book for a song.
That wasn't a memory.
Oh, so you actually sang?
Yeah.
Aries, you never sing around the office.
Because you guys are weird. Like you're being weird now. Like,
I'm weird.
a little bit. In a good way.
Oh, weird in a good way.
Hmm.
Rolls her eyes at that with a smile. Zabanya,
Yes.
are you looking for anything?
No.
She looks a little surprised at that. I thought you, of all people, would have wanted to kind of peruse.
Oh, I'm going to peruse. But there's too much here that I don't know before I start trying to just buy things. I'm not in the market for giving away parts of myself.
Yeah, I like who I am too much. Every aspect.
Meh.
Alice is uh, kind of wandering and looking closely at items as they pass. Looks over. So, how do you find anything here?
Just ask for it and it just pops up.
So the market just caters to your every desire.
Yeah.
All right, let's test that.
Boy.
Zabanya's gonna take a moment to think. She's gonna snap her fingers and go, "All right, that." And she's just gonna start walking in a direction.
Hmm.
Um, to let you know, Matt, what Zabanya's looking for are specifically third-hand used textbooks, psychology textbooks that deal with Freudian psychology as a legitimate theory.
What she finds instead is someone's who is current finds someone who is currently selling cell phones.
Okay.
Person behind the counter. It doesn't look like much of a person. Gonna put on my ST hat here for a second.
Sorry, Zabanya was doing a poke.
Give me just a quick. We're not going to say perception. We'll call it an investigation roll.
That's fine. Still get 9 again. If I can find the mage dice roller. There it is.
There's no such thing as a mage dice roller. It's all in your head. One success. All right. So what you find is a vendor selling cell phones. Looks over, looks Sabanya up and down, nods at her. I have what you need.
Do you?
Yes. What we sell here are burner phones. Phones that will connect you with the people that you are looking to be connected to.
Uh,
Harry throws out his hand like, see, told you.
I think I'm quite all right, though. Thank you. I'm simply perusing today.
Sure you are. I mean, you're not looking for someone to talk to, are you?
Oh, didn't catch that.
Sure you are. You're not looking for someone to talk to, are you?
I have people to talk to.
Yes. But what about what do you call them? A seer.
Ah, shit. It's gonna blink.
This happens a lot. He looks at Savanya like,
As
So,
nice as that would be.
wouldn't you want to talk to one though? Meet up with one maybe. He says, sliding a cell phone forward that looks like an old Motorola flip phone.
Oh, she's gonna look at that motherfucker for a minute. And she is going to. Yeah, she's gonna say, I thank you for the offer. However, again, I am simply perusing.
Oh, that's quite all right. I'm sure you wouldn't be interested in my other goods.
Your other ones.
Oh, yes. He's just pulling out another phone. This one looks like one of those giant cell phones, from back in the day, just the cordless phones that people could walk around with. Um, like that were the size of bricks, pretty much. It's a gray one with a long antenna. Puts it in front of her. I'm sure you wouldn't mind talking to the people who harmed that associate of yours, would you?
Ooh, that one is going to. She'll look and yes. Are you telling me that you can just give me their location?
I can give you a phone that connects to their phone. Always.
As useful as that is. Again, simply perusing.
Hmm. You sure I couldn't tempt you with a phone date?
I think I am quite all right, thank you.
Hmm. You're blocking my son. You should move along.
Fair enough. Gonna start moving away.
Are you
Let's
sure
her
about
go.
that, Zabanya?
Oh wait, what was that Ari said? I'm sorry.
Are you sure about that, Zabanya? We could actually do some good. You know, it's your cabal mates. Where you go, we go.
This is true. Do you also know something? Do you want to know something?
What do you mean?
Most of the fun is the hunt itself.
Yeah.
So for you, it's the journey.
Yep.
Yeah.
An interesting twist. Uh, they pass another table with where costumes are being sold, including some very sheer and sexy schoolgirl outfits.
Looks at Alice.
She looks over, completely composed and nonplussed.
Stops. So you're not gonna buy one?
By what? By what?
Points. Like,
Oh, no interest to me at all.
and you sure that you know? Are you absolutely sure?
I am 100% positive. I mean, what would I need one for?
For obvious things and obvious reasons and obvious nefarious plots.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I am just an innocent victim in your strange, deluded fantasy.
And Vic, you're anything but innocent, Alice.
And what, pray tell, makes you think I would have any need for something like that?
Ares would look her up and down and says, "We can definitely find out."
I'll have you know that
That
no one's proven worth my time
the hunt is
in that
on
regard
them,
yet.
and he will sort of rub his hands back and forth. The hunt is on them.
Sabanya translation.
He's being kind of a misogynist.
Not misogynist. Looks at Sabaya hurt.
Like she's gonna kind of, she's gonna hold out her index finger and her thumb, like just a little bit.
It's not misogynist to go after something that you want.
Something. Okay, got it. You know how I look when I see a murderer, Alice?
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Imagine that, but sexually. And imagine that, but Aries towards you.
Oh, that would be a laugh.
Oh. Looks at both of his friends, feeling suddenly betrayed.
I mean, we'd need at least 3 or 4 more dates before I even started entertaining such a notion.
You're definitely worth my time.
Any other parts of the market you want to show me?
He says this way. He says leading her down the street.
So, Zabanya Firevite was more than interested in working closer with our cabal.
Excellent.
Would solve our current deficit of spirit and life. Any thoughts on the matter?
I know I'd like to see what her non magical skills are. Those are very important as well. You mentioned she was a fire dancer at the very least. She's creative, artistic, passionate.
Sees magic as a giant web of life.
So she either very carefully considers her actions or oftentimes throws caution to the wind. Considering what we've heard about her thus far, I'm going to assume the latter.
Aries, you've met her before.
Mhm.
What about you?
What about me? What?
Um, anything you can add that you know about her?
Um, nothing that hasn't already been said.
Oh, we met before I forget, a new member, well, not new, but new to me, member of the Arrow. It was uh, John Yi, right?
Yeah, Obermost.
Who has a fascinating opinion on religious affiliations. He doesn't see much of them, and is seems a little uneasy with the hierarchs report what you know. You know, keep an eye out on people. Uh, statement from a month ago.
This is Dysnomia.
No.
No, John Yi, member of the Arrow that we just met last night.
Ah, all right. Interesting.
Very much so. We gave him a card, of course. Hopefully, we'll get some more business from the Arrow. So, what's on your mind?
Right now, this.
Right, but I mean, analysis-wise, you sketchy and dangerous still.
More so.
More so. What's made it more dangerous? Something we should be on the lookout for?
I have not shared this with anybody, but I had wanted to meet with a seer for a long time. Well, not just a seer, but anybody that we oppose. I think it's very important to gain an understanding of one's enemy and to gain an understanding of what you're fighting. I knew about the philosophy, but I never shared the exact desire with anybody. This place was able to cut past my initial test desire and go straight to what I actually wanted. Of course, what they don't realize is it's not about destination. Something in it if you don't use your tools and if you don't get down to the bottom of it. But either way, this place is offering one of the most dangerous things for anyone. It's offering them what they want.
What's wrong with being offered what you want?
What you want isn't always what's best for you. And sometimes what you want can hurt others. There's nothing wrong with selfishness. But if you just come here and get whatever you wanted, period, if someone was impulsive and rash enough, they could do truly terrible things to people.
Sounds like it also holds everything that you need to make yourself happy.
Well, happiness is relative.
True.
But
It is.
after a certain point, though, you might stop being you.
Transhumanist theory, right?
Something like that. Getting rid of your memories, getting rid of your emotions. And so I'm assuming you said anything can be bought and sold, yes?
Yes.
You could sell memories, you could sell emotions, you could sell mental instabilities, you could sell positive traits. I assume you could sell your name.
Yeah. Someone tried to buy my name. I promptly told them no.
Good call.
Why wouldn't you want to sell mental instabilities?
Again, many of those are part of what make you you. I don't doubt anyone. I wouldn't blame somebody for wanting to get rid of them.
Not everyone has the luxury of looking at something so analytically, Zabanya. You just deal with it, and you just deal with the uncomfortableness of knowing that you're essentially a freak for the rest of your days because your brain doesn't work like everyone else's.
I've known what I was from day one.
I'm not saying that you didn't. I'm saying that you need to understand that not everything is so black and white.
Nothing is black and white. This though, gray. This is a far darker shade of gray than I'm comfortable with.
No, I just think that this is a place where if you're smart enough and know what you're selling, then it's okay.
And that's fair, but how many aren't? How many are careless? How many don't know what they're giving up?
Their carelessness has nothing to do with me.
And that's fine. However, I'm saying it's important. And I'm saying that it isn't fair to essentially rope people into these deals that they're not even sure what they're giving up.
Deals like these happen every day. How many people sign up for credit cards, loans, leases, sign contracts and documents? They have no idea what they're signing over.
Again, too many. It's wrong. Plain and simple.
Then again, one has to know that something hurts and that the fire is hot, so they stop doing it.
Oh, I actually didn't catch that.
People have to understand that the fire is hot.
And there needs to be an understanding that there doesn't need to be a fire, period.
Fire is necessary. Fires teach limits.
That's a very Obermost thing. I've heard it a couple of times. The idea is that without fire, we don't have light. We'd all be in darkness. Am I right?
Correct.
What's the Mastigo's thought on that?
So you are saying that for us to move forward, others must be run over.
I'm saying that in order for people to move forward into real change to happen, sometimes individuals get burned. Happens. Any marketable or real change.
Whilst I don't disagree that sometimes you need to push harder to achieve something good, there is a difference between trying to change something, truly trying to change your circumstances,
Mm-hmm.
and just selling off your name to just get it.
There's a difference between stating the facts, as most people do. They state facts as their own rationale, their own way of thinking, and then all it takes is for someone to show a different plausibility, a different way, a different size, a way for someone to question what they previously thought, which leads to undoubtedly hubris and very impulsive decisions. Some people, case in point, choose to stop, wait, and think. Some don't. Some simply run into the darkness, hoping that they'll turn up, face up, okay, unharmed, unscathed. It works for some people. It doesn't work for everyone else. But this, in fact, but this, in fact, becomes a learning opportunity for others that are watching and looking.
Object lessons. It's as an enchanter, it's one of the things that we believe exist and has to happen.
Do I feel bad that a person didn't make a very smart or wise choice? Possibly. But between not caring and opening laughing at the divisiveness of the poor decision separates someone who's essentially unconcerned with the thoughts and patterns of others and the sociopath. Wanting to get rid of something that you no longer find desirable is wrong or faulty. It should be looked on or should be looked on with divisiveness or smug superiority.
And the problem is when you get rid of something like that, because just because something's negative doesn't mean that it shouldn't be a part of you.
And who are you to say that?
Someone that's learned enough about the human mind to know that there's shitty parts of everybody.
I understand having a shitty part. What I don't understand is something that's literally been an obstacle since the day you moved. It doesn't teach dealing with things or wanting to cope. It merely binds you up in a very uncomfortable way. Is this a limit? No. But sometimes I think since perfected or unperfected people have different ways of dealing with things. And finding a way to deal with something that's very inept is important. Cutting off something that is cancerous to the rest of the body is not only prudent but necessary.
That's fair. There are some cancers that need to be removed. But on top of that as well, do you know that oxygen kills you as much as it keeps you alive?
I'm aware. But in the same token, removing something that is potentially hazardous to my health. For example, did you know that certain people have the need to apologize when they feel anxious or confused?
Yes.
They oftentimes admit to things that they normally wouldn't.
Yes.
Taking away that impulse to apologize, most individuals spend their lifetime trying to master, trying to figure out. Being able not to have that impulse to basically bottle up your anxiety and not have to deal with it so you can function as a rational human being. I think it's fun because you're aware of it. What I'm advocating for is passionate, coherent thought, not rapid, impulsive decisions because you couldn't wait.
And whilst I'm not going to say that they're both equally harmful, because they're not, I am saying that who would think of themselves as the latter rather than the former?
My while your perceptions of me literally have nothing to do with me. My my thought and appearance, outlooks, and versions of myself appear different to every person that comes into contact with me. If I was to concern myself with everyone's opinion, I wouldn't grow.
The lie versus the reality.
It's a Mastigos way of thinking. I don't mean that as an insult.
Trauma versus rising above. Thaumaturge versus warlock.
Imperfections are meant to be burned away. Burn away too much and you set yourself on fire.
What imperfections would you burn away in me?
Mm, that is an oxymoron in itself because I theoretically could not date myself because I am not attracted to myself.
Not a narcissist. I can accept that. So you wouldn't change a thing in others, you would just change them in yourself.
That's the only way real change happens. You fix yourself. You can pray all day and pray all night that somebody else will be different, act different, be different. But at the end of the day, that real change happens with you. This place, getting back to the root of the point I was making, allows that you to have some way to will change. Now, it also is an object lesson or pushing too much. Bargaining and selling away entirely too much. As I've witnessed people here do, but
So you would say that this market would be a good confluence of our two approaches.
yes.
While she looks over at Zabanya, you would say this place is dangerous because it removes something essential to one's being.
It removes something that's in. Yes, it removes something that is important to us. And it also removes the work that is required to get it.
So you would say the suffering is important?
Yes.
I'm saying that suffering has a purpose when it's left to teach a lesson. Pointless suffering is that it's just what it is, pointless suffering. Which is why some people refuse to seek out therapy and help. It's pointless suffering.
I don't see people change, and I don't see people grow and evolve from the good things that happen in their lives. I see them change because they struggle. I change because I struggle.
Change often happens in more than one medium. Yes, fire produces a change, but so does air, earth, and water. It's a moot point.
Mm,
Now we're definitely out of my depth. I am assuredly not as skilled or even capable of understanding uh, the forces of our world.
I understand them on a metaphysical level, so much as my teachers and my teachers' teachers self told me. But I am not content with just saying that something is inherently bad or good.
And I
Ma-
guess I'm the weird one of our group because everything is a narrative. Parts in the story that we're being told or that we're telling ourselves, depending on whether or not we were able to grasp the pin. I mean, I literally just go down rabbit holes every day. Whether that's suffering or whether it's purification, I have no idea.
the mind is far too complex and too ever changing to risk giving up parts of it.
Also, as woodworkers, we live outside of the normal expectations of what we are.
We might be able to cast magic, but in very real ways, we're still fundamentally human.
No, I completely disagree. I am no longer human.
Puzzle.
My my inactivity actively changes the world around me.
Everyone was talking about last night, choice. Whether or not if you have the power to choose whether or not inaction is in itself a choice.
Absolutely.
My thoughts and my emotions, my feelings change the very fabric of reality. As do yours, as is Alice's.
If I want a cookie, there will be a cookie on my desk in however many minutes I choose.
Do you know who else can do that? The
Uber
rich.
Eats?
And Uber Eats.
Who else does what?
Oh, sorry?
Who else does what? You cut off at the end.
Oh, she said the rich.
Yeah, I agree. But the one thing that the rich and affluent have that we also have to a far larger degree is just that the question now becomes not can we, but if we.
What about
There's a
should
maybe.
we?
If we could, we should, we maybe. Everything comes incredibly subjective.
So the greater the privilege, the more questions you're capable of asking.
Exactly.
Was that something that came from the Silver Ladder?
No, that's something that just came from life itself. One in action.
What does the ladder teach about personal responsibility with that power?
Personal responsibility is different for each ladder. Some choose personal responsibility as a way to hoard it and exalt some fanciful tale of superiority. Others choose for actually making the world a better place. And then there's others still that aim from personal perfection. Answer changes.
And the Guardians?
Improving is one thing. Improving is valued, and improving is important. But it's just as important in how you do it rather than doing it. If you have to step over others, if you have to resort to immoral means in order to achieve this goal, the question then becomes how is it worth it in the long run?
You're adding a level of morality, and morality as will workers is something that we all wrestle with because we actively change the world around us. To your previous point about us being human, it's actually counterproductive.
How is that counterproductive? Morality is a very human trait. By not having it, well,
What I'm
Well,
saying, go ahead, Alice.
um, do we. I've been curious about this because my job as a censor is different from your job as a guardian. As you know, my job has been to take things away and put them into storage from those who are not using them ethically. But the guardians seem to have a moral mandate. Do you believe then that our kind can have morals, are moral, or should we be more focused on ethics?
the problem with ethics is our kind are far too ever changing to hold to steadfast rules. Morality would do better to lead us in the long run.
All right.
If you want to set down ethics, that would be your personal choice. But ultimately, my brand of ethics should be fundamentally different from yours because we do magic differently, we think differently.
Right. One of the big dilemmas of our orders is we all follow a different ethical code. Um, if which yours is completely incompatible with mine, for instance. The Mysterium believes that lies are every lie you tell, whether big or small, contributes to the greater lie of reality, and thus brings the abyss closer, which means we are not allowed to tell a lie. The Guardians, however, by their nature, guardians of a veil, our veil, have to lie. So you're right, our ethics aren't 100% or even to any degree compatible. Yet the Guardians uphold an ethical cause for the Concilium and not a moral one, as far as I was aware. What's even more interesting is both of you have moral compasses, moral guides, whether from your order or your religion. Would they not be compatible with each other?
I think they are.
I believe in many ways they are. I think that when it comes down to the baseline, just the barest essentials, I think me and Aries could agree on fundamental things.
I agree.
So, once again, I'm the odd person out.
How would you be the odd person out?
Um, Well, I'm an enchanter, a witch. We not believe. I know for a fact everything is nothing more than a series of choices, good or ill. We all make choices, whether we suffer or we choose to rise up. We choose to be go through a crucible to transmute ourselves. It's all a choice with consequences, both good and bad. Fire is just one more prop. The gold around us, just a medium. She smiles broadly. So, if everything is a choice and everything is just a series of consequences, everything we do is neutral, especially if there's no morality except that which is supernal. And even then, isn't the ultimate perfection of the supernal the fact that it is a series of ethical guidelines rather than a moral imperative? From some of our stories, some of those we would consider exceedingly immoral have managed to achieve ascension. And if
Which is
that's true,
so what you're bringing up is the difference between privilege and not having privilege. You can look at things like that.
right, because we are privileged.
I
I
agree.
mean, all of us are in this particular community. She looks at Sabanya.
Oh, I don't disagree. We are absolutely very privileged. When you, like Ari said, can warp reality just kind of by being around. That lends itself to a certain amount of it.
True. And though this place is, that's the weirdest part of what's, and kind of giving me a headache is everything here is a deal, a bargain, some sort of nebulous headspace. And my very presence is not changing it.
I think that's, and I think part of the scariest thing is this place can clearly change us.
On the side long changes you. What's your point?
Like, I don't think it matters what we can do in here.
So the market has a greater privilege than us.
More than likely.
And that's one of the critical lessons we learn as mages is that there's things out there stronger than us.
Well, for now,
And hubris.
there's no hubris, there's just truth. Eventually, with the right amount of knowledge, you can rise up to be the largest fish in the pond.
Oh, there's
The height of hubris.
a name for that now. I believe it's called Big Dig Energy.
Exactly.
She rolls her eyes. The Mysterium has proven time and again that the more knowledge you collect and put together, the higher upon the chain you get. Think about it. Right now, if one of us truly understood the market, then the market would lose its power over us.
I mean, in a way, I believe Sabanya has it. She understood it quicker than other people, probably faster than I did. That this wasn't obviously a danger. I mean, I still think that Mm, I lost my train of thought. God damn it. And just like that, whoop, it'll come back. Mm,
But Sabanya, you said it's a danger, but it becomes far less dangerous once you know how to handle it. Once you have the knowledge to control or the knowledge of how it exactly works. Once you know how something works, it has no power over you.
That's how cycles start.
Sorry, say that again.
She'll say that's how cycles start.
Cycles? Oh, like epics and stories?
In a manner of speaking.
repetitive behavior.
And I'll admit, just because you know how a gun works doesn't mean it'll hurt less if you get shot. Unless you have magicka, but that's a whole different thing entirely.
And teaches lessons. Don't get shot. Very important lesson.
Shot? Is that why
Just,
is it why
go
would it
ahead.
be why would it be treated all right. Why would it be treated as a learning experience for the shot rather than a grievous crime committed by the shooter?
Mm, it's not really a crime if you aren't shot. It just
Well,
becomes irresponsibility at that point. At least that's what gangbangers think. Crime, usual crimes are only really crimes if people bring it to an authority's attention. If not, it's just an event that happened.
if we're
See,
speaking
choices.
if we're speaking legally, then yes. However, I suppose I did misspeak earlier when I said crime, because there is a difference between a crime and the right and the wrong thing to do.
Oh, completely. I completely agree.
Jean Valjean.
Right, exactly. He committed a crime, but stealing bread for his dying sister, was it? I don't think that's necessarily. I wouldn't arrest him for that.
It's less about. This becomes a very important lesson about ownership and what belongs to you. Yes, taking bread from someone, you're actively you're taking a resource out of someone's pocket to serve a means, and that means well meaning in your head is meant for ill in another person's head.
Which
Someone's
is
stock someone's stock has been altered. You're literally infecting someone's way of life.
which is why if everyone could operate with pure knowledge, we'd be able to end all these issues. The question is how to bring that about, and the Mysterium is still working on that. We'll get back to you when we have an answer.
This is why laws and orders are important, and statuses and rules and limitations are important. Structure. You have to know when you've done something wrong.
I can agree with that.
I think All of us can agree on that to a degree. I mean, hierarchy, I understand. Someone has to be in charge of opening the gate. I think it's why all three of us work so well together. Um, Speaking of which, I'm glad that you took us to the market
It was an illuminating experience.
in more ways than one. Zabanya, are you satisfied with your trip as well?
Oh, are you what?
I'm.
No, I
n-
didn't catch that. My bad.
Oh, are you satisfied with your trip as well?
She'll not. Yes.
I think we got everything we can from it. There's literally nothing here that would fill my heart's desires.
Mm-mm-mm.
I think there is. I just think that you're not going out and looking, which is also a smart idea.
Everything I desire is within myself. Unless Ares here thinks that he can break through or tempt me with another mysterious morsel.
You've already bitten. It's just a matter of time.
I do not recall biting into any apples, thank you.
I wasn't talking about an apple.
I'm
And we are walking outside.
so Zabanya, back at the office, I think coffee.
Yes.
Ares, have you drummed up any more work for us yet?
Did we collect payment yet from the that other cabal?
Oh, the Sun Reavers?
Yes.
Uh, both of us have. What's
What'd you
taking
get?
you so long?
It would have been nice if you, as a secretary, you would have like mentioned it.
You still are owed a favor. Collectible at any time to for rote training or use of their hollow.
I have to kind of rewind. Were you actually treating her like a secretary the whole time?
Who? Aries to Alice?
Like Zabani is asking Aries directly.
She said she wanted the job. He just kind of shrugs, like she doesn't want to be the secretary. She doesn't have to be.
Oh, that's fair. I just kind of never really treated her like a secretary. I just kind of treated her as another detective.
Someone has to be organized, and she's pretty organized in a very chaotic way.
I'm organized.
Organized.
Right, but apparently he wants to put the one he considers pretty up front.
Are you saying that she's not pretty?
I'm saying that you might have overlooked another person in the office.
I'm saying you're putting words in my mouth, and that is a shitty thing to do.
I would never put words in your mouth.
You can put something else if you like. He goes
And
to get
we're
his coffee.
walking. And I think that's a good place to end scene.
Yo. Oh,
Say again, Tim?
I said, yep, we good. I gotta start the brain work.
Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. Have a great afternoon.